Week 15 has started off with an absolute bang. The Falcons and Buccaneers game last night was pretty crazy. Falcons ended up coming out on top, which was very surprising. I figured the Bucs would win this game, but Baker kind of blew it at the end of the game. And yeah, Kyle Pitts went insane. 166 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. I'll get into that in a second when I talk some of my best ball teams that did advance to Week 15. And Kirk Cousins played really, really well. 370, 3 touchdowns. He definitely outplayed Baker. Right here, I mean, you can see it. Kirk, Bijan, and Pitts outplayed all the Bucs players. That's kind of how that game went. But main thing I wanted to get into today is some of these best ball teams that I did have advance to Week 15. I just kind of wanted to go through them and see if any of them actually have a legit chance. I briefly looked at them just to I wanted to kind of rank which teams I thought had an actual chance and which teams didn't. So I'm going to go from least likely, in my opinion, to most likely, in my opinion, to advance to Week 15 or Week 16, I should say. But that Kyle Pitts game last night kind of changes a little bit. So let's just get into it. I believe. Let me see. Yeah, so the Pomeranian here, this team, I assume is probably going to be my worst. Yeah, Bucky Irving last night was definitely a disappointment. I would have to agree with you there. But yeah, I'm going to say this is probably my least likely team to advance. Quarterbacks, they all have been not great. Hurts, Bryce Young, Rodgers, can't really expect much out of them. James Conner's out for the year. So really I'm going to be relying on DeAndre Swift. I guess Swift, Javonte, and ETN have a legit chance at scoring some points, but I wouldn't count on it. And then a disastrous season from Justin Jefferson. I don't expect anything more. Coming from him this week. Why would anything change? A.J. Brown has been hit or miss. I guess if Hurts and A.J. Brown can connect and they have a crazy week, I just have to hope that someone else in this league doesn't have that combo. That could happen, and it could work out well. Funny thing, I do have Michael Wilson on a lot of these teams that did advance, which is looking pretty good currently. Wide receiver 1. They do have a tough matchup this week against the Texans, so that could be tough to overcome. And I have McBride as well on this team. So if we go over here, Texans are one of the best, probably if not the best defense in the league right now. I expect them to continue that. Jacoby Brissett will definitely throw. He's not afraid to throw the ball, but I'm not expecting anything crazy from McBride and Wilson. So, I mean, hopefully this team has a shot, but I ranked it the worst just from briefly looking over them yesterday. I don't know why. I don't know why either. Sean Tucker has been stealing so much goal line work from Bucky Irving. I actually don't think I have Bucky on any of these teams just because he was out all year and he was drafted so high. I'd be shocked if a lot of people had him on their team that actually advanced because he was a first or second round pick preseason, and he just kind of fell apart. He hasn't done much since he's got back really either. He's scored, I think, in both games, but it's not a lot of yardage from him either. Okay, so carrying on with that, this team here, these are all 1 QB leagues besides I have one Superflex that I'll go through once I get to it. But this is the team I ranked, I guess, second to last, that I just didn't think had a legit chance. The only reason I didn't rank it last was because this team has St. Brown and Puka on it, and Jalen Waddle. I think that they could probably put up a decent amount of points combined. And then if we look at their matchups, I believe Detroit is playing Los Angeles. And then who is... Yeah, so Miami's playing the Steelers, which they have not really been that great against the pass this season either. So I'm expecting St. Brown and Puka to really carry this team, and then just kind of hope that either Jackson Dart or Tua has a decent game. I believe Jackson Dart has a good matchup. Yeah, he's playing the Commanders, so he definitely could run one in, run two in. We could get something crazy like that. And then if Tua does, for some reason, have a decent game against the Steelers, it'll probably be through Jalen Waddle. So I could see that stack working out. And then I do have a couple of good running backs here. Breece Hall, who I believe is going to play. So he's listed as limited yesterday in practice. Hopefully he plays. And then RJ Harvey has actually seen an uptick in carries. So yeah, it looks like Breece Hall and Aaron Jones are kind of up in the air. I think this team will probably hinder on both those players. If they play, I have a chance. If they don't, definitely don't have a chance. All right, and then I did put the Superflex team in next. If you look at this team, it's not that great, but I do have Kyle Pitts on it, who went crazy last night. So I do have Kyle Pitts, who dropped 40 points. Just unbelievable. I mean, he has 4 touchdowns on the season. 3 were last night. He basically, he didn't double, but he's dropped 40 points. He's only got 140 on this season. So what a time to have him, I guess, in this format. I do have Herbert and then Geno Smith. I don't even know if Geno Smith's going to play. That's also another problem with this team. It is a super flex, so you have the ability to start 2 quarterbacks, and there's going to be people in this league who have much better quarterbacks. Like, just for an example, this team has Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford. Like, I don't know how I'm going to compete with this team. They drafted a bunch of quarterbacks. They got Rodgers playing, Shuck playing, Dart playing, Sanders playing, and they had Kirk last night. So I don't know if I'm going to have the quarterbacks to win this. And honestly, next season I'll probably stay away from these drafts. I didn't have much success doing these, and I don't really know why. I mean, maybe I didn't draft enough high-end quarterbacks. The only reason I have this team in here is because the running backs are crazy. I have Gibbs, McCaffrey, and Henderson all on this team who could go like crazy this week and maybe win me this league, but I doubt it. Also have an injury here, Tyreek Hill. Pickens could be good. Samuel could be fine. I kind of wanted more out of Mooney last night, but he's like disappeared after Kirk took over. I really don't understand. Like, I just don't get it, why he's not getting more targets. London was out last night. I guess Pitts was the main target, but I guess Colston Loveland could surprise, but I don't have much hope with this team. All right, let's move on to the puppy format. And this is another team I do have Kyle Pitts on. I think this team has a legit chance at advancing and possibly going further. It's only a 1 QB, start 1 quarterback. I have Mahomes. I also have McCarthy, who has definitely struggled, but it's only this week, so it doesn't matter what he did up to this point. He plays Dallas, who is vulnerable, I would say, to the pass, so you never know where that could go. And then who does Kansas City play? Kansas City plays the Chargers. I think they are favored in that game, so hopefully he goes off. I do have James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, and Judkins on this team. I think those three, all I need is 2 of those guys to play well. I think Judkins and Cook hopefully play really well. And then wide receiver looks good as well. Lamb looks like he's going to play. Yep, clears. So he cleared protocol. He's ready to go for Sunday. I have Ladd, Addison, Hollywood Brown even. I mean, all of these guys are playing and not hurt, which is awesome considering how many people you draft in these formats and how many people can get injured. And then kind of my secret weapon down here, I have Trey McBride as well, who can go into the flex spot if I don't have somebody who outperforms him. So that's good as well. I need somebody for the flex. So let's say James Cook and Judkins are top 2. They'll take the running back spots. You play 2. If Chuba doesn't play well, and then I only have 3 guys like Lamb, McConkey, and Michael Wilson play well. McBride can fill into that flex spot. I think this team has a pretty good chance at getting first, or a decent chance. All right, and then I have the Allen and May team. It's going to be tough. I'm assuming both these teams have Pitts. Honestly, in all the leagues, it's going to be kind of tough overcoming the Kyle Pitts. That's going to be the top scorer for a tight end. That's going to be the top score for a tight end, period, this week. 160 yards and 3 touchdowns. There's no way that anyone's coming close to that. But I do have Josh Allen and Drake May on this team, which is why I think I have a chance. I think one of these quarterbacks could be the top scorers. I think the over-under is 50 for the game, so they're expecting a lot of points. Most of my running backs here are healthy. Hope Kamara comes back, but it's definitely not guaranteed. Chase Brown can definitely get in the end zone. He's had a decent season. Obviously hasn't lived up to a 2nd or 3rd round pick like he was preseason. But we also have DeAndre Swift, Rico Dowdle, who definitely carried this team to the playoffs. And then even Blake Corum. So it's not too bad for the running backs. And then wide receivers are pretty good. Lamb again. I have a lot of Lamb on these teams that advanced, which is kind of surprising since he was out and didn't have an awesome season. He has a lot of yards still, but only 3 touchdowns. Obviously was hurt. London's gonna hurt this team though. Not having Drake London's gonna hurt this team. But even with that, I still have Lamb, Metcalf, Diggs. I think Lamb, Metcalf, Diggs could all have great weeks. Um, Metcalf plays Miami, which is a pretty good matchup. Last time Diggs played the Bills, he went off. I think he had over 130 or 40 yards and a touchdown. And then hopefully CD just continues what he's been doing. And then even like a surprise, Keon Coleman or Keenan Allen possibly could have good weeks. And then I like Tyler Warren and Kincaid. I'm not really sure what to expect from Tyler Warren, just because obviously Daniel Jones is out now and Phillip Rivers is taking over. But he's had a good season so far. He's got 5 total touchdowns, 700 yards, and he gets a fair share of the targets in the offense. I don't know if he leads. I believe he still leads in yards for all receivers on the Colts. So I do like this team. And then, okay, I got 2 more here. So another CeeDee Lamb team. Another guy does have Pitts on this league. In this league, I should say. So quarterbacks with this team, I have Bo Nix and Matthew Stafford. Stafford's been a great pick. 35 passing touchdowns, playing his former team in Detroit. Hopefully he scores a bunch of points. I don't really know what to expect from Nix, but he could have a good week. I'm really relying on Stafford with this team, honestly. Running backs and receivers look pretty good with this team. So I've got HN, who should play. Obviously, if he doesn't play, and then Jacobs, I think Jacobs missed practice as well. If they don't play, this team's done. But if they do play, they should play well, and I should have a pretty good chance. And then even Tony Pollard last week had a really, really great week. I believe a touchdown or 2 last week against the Browns, who are usually a pretty good defense. So hopefully he can keep that going. And then wide receivers, I got a bunch on this team. Really going to rely on Lamb, Pickens. Hopefully Dallas has a great week. I also have Sutton. Odunze, I believe, is out, but he is limited at practice. So you never know. And then one of these guys could possibly have a surprise week. I doubt it. But you never know. All it takes is 1 week. Douglas probably would be the one if there was a guy who had a surprise week against the Bills. And then 2 pretty good tight ends on this team too, Warren and Ferguson. I feel like I nailed the tight ends. I have a lot of Warren, who I was pretty high on coming into the season, and that definitely paid off. So I'm happy with that. And then the team that I think has the best chance here, just from glancing at it the other day. 2 people, it looks like, have Pitts, though, in this league. Yep. 2 people have Kyle Pitts. So that's going to be tough. But this team's pretty good, though. Josh Allen and Drake May, I have as quarterbacks. Only need one of them. Running back, McCaffrey, Kyron should carry me. Maybe Pacheco has a surprise week. That'd be awesome. But definitely can't rely on that. I need McCaffrey and Williams to go crazy. And then wide receivers, St. Brown, Waddle. And then I have the Buffalo and New England connections. So I'm really just hoping that that Buffalo and New England game has a bunch of points scored. I've got Shakir, Keon Coleman, and Kyle Williams. So if 1 or 2 of those guys go off, could be great. And then Kelsey and Henry for my tight ends. I Adonai Mitchell on this team too, who has recently, had a breakout game. Was kind of slow last week, but there's definitely some promise there. And look, it literally only takes one great week, and that could get your team to the first to the top, first place. Most of these leagues are only first place advances. Some of them, I believe, are 2 teams advance. I'd have to look into it. Let me get out of that. I'm not exactly sure, but essentially we're looking for first or second place with most of these teams. So there's a lot of luck involved. It's not easy, and it really comes down to matchups, and then just hoping your guys stay healthy and score, honestly. But from doing all this year, having so many drafts from the preseason, I think I'm going to stay away from the Superflex. I did not have much success with the Superflex leagues. I don't know if it was not drafting the right quarterbacks or just it's tough. It's tough when you have the Superflex spot, especially with injuries. It makes it really random. To whereas in these single leagues, like you can draft Mahomes at pick 150, and he can have a great season, and that's all you need. You just relying on one guy, and then really just focusing on running backs and receivers. So probably stick a lot towards the one quarterback leagues next season. But I had a lot of fun. Hope these teams or one of these teams at least advances and goes on. That would be a lot of fun cheering those on. And I'll be sure to update all you guys if any of them do advance past week 15. So make sure to come check that out as well. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Subscribe if you're new or are enjoying the content. And I'll catch you later today with player props for NFL Sunday. I'll do one player prop I like for each game, and I'll run through those quick just so you have it for Sunday.